So when I first walked into Hershey Lodge just a few short months ago, I never thought I could be in the position I am today, giving closing regards on my year as the 2020 Pennsylvania State Fair Queen. August 2019 was my home fair, the Mifflin County Fair's first year holding a Fair Queen contest. I had no idea of the PA State Fair Queen competition's existence, let alone statewide impact. However, after the unknown blessing of experiencing the in-person competition, my favorite aspect was the opportunity to meet so many lifelong friends. So to all you girls out there, thank you so much for making my years so much more enjoyable. I look forward to seeing your smiling faces if I had the opportunity to visit your fair, and appreciated so much all the text messages and encouraging words you've given to me through social media throughout the year. Now, my first official event as PA State Fair Queen occurred a few short weeks after the coronation. In February, I attended Cornucopia and got my first real look at how agriculture impacts us on a legislative level. Rubbing shoulders with those who give PA farmers and residents a voice was truly an honor. Now, normally, Cornucopia is the kickoff event to a PA Fair Queen's busy schedule, but as we all know, 2020 was anything but normal, and suddenly the word positive was a bad thing. What was once a busy summer for me turned into long months of quarantine, school cancellations, and my virtual high school graduation. And during that time, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. Like many of us, events like Ag Progress Days and the Pennsylvania Farm Show are events we attend annually, whether to show animals or participate in hands-on agriculture education. And as texts from the PA Fair Queen manager, Martha, who gives us new events, became few and far between, my thoughts became consumed with thinking of what could have been and what could not be. And looking back, I realized I shouldn't have thought this way for so long. I needed to stop thinking of myself, because the PA Fair Queen title has little to do with the Queen holding the crown, and more to do with the PA Fair Queen's job shining light on our communities and their impact. Our nation experienced divides like we've never seen before, and tensions on all matters were at an all-time high. But this past year, we got to see the impact of the county fair, because for many of us, for the first time in our lives, we got to see our world without them. Pennsylvania fairs attract 5.5 million fair visitors and 3.7 million other visitors annually. PA fairs bring in over $60 million of the state's annual revenue, with $126 million of total economic state impacts. Typical fairgrounds are used more than 12 weeks of the year for various community activities. Fairs and showmen and vendors produce $37 million in sales, and fair vendors offer about 7,000 part-time and 2,000 full-time jobs. We see fairs' community impact as they bring in an average of 5,000 volunteers for boards and committees, and about 40 per fair, and an average of 15,000 volunteers for other activities, about 150 per fair. So in 2020, we not only lost tradition, we lost a massive component of what makes our state so great. Many of our small businesses were forced to close their doors, some still uncertain if they will ever be able to come back again economically. Many may have personally experienced being laid off work or know someone who has. It's safe to say somebody, in everyone's world, was a little shaken up at some point during the past 12 months. COVID affected our farms in ways we may not have even thought of. Travel bans enacted across the country affected out-of-state and out-of-country farmhands' ability to work. Fewer people driving drove down the demand of ethanol, which is made from corn, and instead the need for oil increased. Yet our farmers were still out plowing our fields and milking the cows. All this to say, my disappointment of not being able to visit fairs in action, or as many fairs, was trivial compared to the ripple effect of their loss that will probably still be affecting us years down the line. Despite this, I get to leave my reign feeling inspired. So thank you to the agriculture community for inspiring me. While our nation seemed to be tearing itself apart, you are bringing our communities together. If it was possible for your county, you worked hard to have some sort of small showcase or auction for your youth. If 2020 meant a total closing of your doors, you worked quietly and tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure some type of showcase for 2021, despite many facing substantial financial loss. If you're a farmer, you worked without complaint, just like you always do, every day, so the Pennsylvanians can continue door dashing those late quarantine meals at affordable prices. If you could go the extra mile, you went there. So on behalf of Pennsylvania Fairs, for these last few minutes, thank you. Your resilience all summer encouraged me to continue to make the most of my experience. In July, I stepped foot on my first fairgrounds as PA Fair Queen, and the Bloomsburg Fair kindly welcomed me. Although they couldn't hold a fair, I got to be a part of their second Queen coronation. And a few days prior, I got an out-of-the-blue call from 1990 PA Fair Queen and Washington County Fair Queen Coordinator Denise Lee. Knowing all of the cancellations, she put together a Western PA tour and invited me to stay in her home as we traveled to fairgrounds in her area. They welcomed me, and their queens took me on immersive tours of their grounds, and we got to imagine what their fairs looked like before COVID. Thank you so much to Denise and everyone I encountered on those few days to give me some of the craziest but most fun experience of my PA Fair Queen year. I got to ride on the Washington County Fair's historic trolley and then was greeted with gifts and cake presented to me by their generous and hardworking fair board. I learned all about Rain Day, a unique holiday created by Greene County from Greene County's Fair Board, and I even got a t-shirt to commemorate it. I learned the true difference between a llama and alpaca at the Lippincott Alpaca Farm, and even got to hold an alpaca that was only hours old, so that was definitely a highlight. I got to see the result of turning land of a generational cow farm into a fully functional vineyard at Thistleway Vineyards. Prior to this, I was unaware of the county joke, you can't die happy until you visit the Jacktown Fair. So with the hospitality of the Jacktown Fair Board and Fair Queen, I received a tour of their beautiful grounds, and I'm glad to say I can die happy now. Visiting Simmons Farm was a fantastic example of agritourism. The farm grows acres and acres of flowers, and in the fall, pumpkins and apples, and then supplies customers with the tools needed to drive out in the fields and pick it themselves. I enjoyed a wonderful evening at the West Alexandria Fair and was welcomed by their fair queens, fair board, local dairy court, Senator Bartolotta, and their county commissioner. I got to enjoy a small taste of what their county calls the week the world stops. In Fayette County, I received a tour of their vast grounds that thousands of people make their way through in their many barns every non-COVID year. After this, we headed to their local courthouse for a guided tour, accompanied by past Pennsylvania State Fair Queen Chrissy Gassler. A big thank you to local farmer Bill Jackson, who took the time to give us a tour of his gorgeous 900-acre farm. Not only did I get to pet some cows, but I got to see where they turn their fresh cow's milk into a delicious family recipe ice cream. Accompanied by the Butler and Dairy Ag Fair Queens, I went to Grow Pittsburgh, a local farming initiative spanning 1 acre of freshly grown produce. Grow Pittsburgh supplies their produce to local restaurants and residents. In August, I brought things close to home to speak to my fair's livestock action and then ride in my hometown parade. And the very next day, I headed to Clearfield County to welcome their new 2020 Fair Queen, and I got to meet up with many of my county queen friends. Rounding out the month, I visited the beautiful fairs and attended the coronations of the 2020 Elk County, Somerset County, Erie County, Beaver County, and Franklin County Fair Queens. Thank you to all of those fair boards for a great time making me feel right at home at your fair. My last fair of 2020 was the Westland Peter Fair, and it was a great ending to my year as I received milkshakes that were out of this world while they explained to me their unique community to fair involvement. I went to many places in 2020, and yes, I'm blessed to say I did not contract COVID-19. We all overcame so much these past few months, and I saw firsthand the resilience of a county queen. Best of luck to my queens who kept their 2020 crown. Thank you for your willingness to continue to advocate in your communities. And to all the girls leaving today to go back to your hometowns and schedules, not knowing the fairs will be open this year as well, please know that your title is so much more than the places you may or may not get to go. And to the next PA Fair Queen, enjoy every moment, because I learned at least 2 things in 2020. 1, somehow time goes pretty quickly in quarantine. And 2, you have behind you thousands of Pennsylvanians, a part of the oldest, most significant, and most important industry in America, supporting you every step of the way. So thank you for the very last time, your 2020 Pennsylvania State.